Okay. The next one's going to be cause 25772. Am I reading that right?
This is fun.
Yes, I'm sorry. Cause 25. Y'all, my docket moves around a little bit. It's hard to read in between these little lines. So it's going to be 25772. That's Daryl Wayne Miller versus Luke Wallace, Jake Gilbreth, and Jake Gilbreth PLLC. Gotta go through a whole tablet. Y'all got to get a brand new legal tab out. Okay. Who do I have on behalf of the plaintiff, Daryl Wayne Miller? Anyone here for the plaintiff, Daryl Wayne Miller?
Myself.
And
I have a witness,
okay.
Carol Unicelli.
We'll bring him in. Thank you. But you're here, Mr. Miller. I appreciate that. All right. On for our defendants, we have first, do I have someone here on behalf of Luke Wallace?
Hi, Your Honor. My name is Jairo Castellanos. I'm here with Dan Byrne, and we represent the defendants in this case.
Good afternoon, Mr. Castellanos. And you said, Mr. Byrne, you're here as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Okay. And together you're both representing the defendants, Luke Wallace. It's technically it's three. It's Luke Wallace, Jake Gilbreth, and then Jake Gilbreth PLLC. So all three defendants?
That's
That
correct,
is
Your Honor.
correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Alyssa first put me onto this, and then I tried to stream it yesterday, and I streamed the wrong case, and then it cut off. Then Brecken saved the day with the help of Exy and got me the actual hearing that I wanted to do. And here it is. I just wanted to give those thanks before we continue.
All right.
If I could just to be clear, I'm sorry, Your Honor, there actually is no entity Jake Gilbreth PLLC. I assume he meant Walters Gilbreth PLLC.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you all for being here. Let me go ahead and ask the parties who wish to testify to raise your hands. Let me go ahead and swear everybody in. All right, you stand by a period in court today and offering testimony. You are swearing or affirming that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under a penalty of perjury. Do you so swear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much then. All right. And I believe this is just a plain plaintiff's claim. We don't have a counter, is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right then. Mr. Castellanos, Mr. Byrne, as counsel, I think you understand the process of back and forth, so I will not give you my summary about opening statements. Okay? All right, Mr. Miller, as plaintiff, you definitely get to start and end the trial, right? So you'll get to make the opening statement, and you also get to kind of have the last word of things. Also, I understand we have counsel, so they're allowed to ask you questions when it's turn for testimony. You'll get to do the same back. All right, but Mr. Miller, why don't you tell me what this lawsuit's about and why we're here today? You got to unmute. I know, it happens automatically sometimes, y'all.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Your Honor, what's most concerning is that this very same firm, Walters Gilbreth, is fully aware of the ethical standards designed to prevent conflicts of interest. And in fact, this courtroom, they've demonstrated the awareness by hiring outside counsel to represent them. I don't expect perfection, Your Honor. I expect consistency. The firm knows exactly how to protect against conflicts when it serves their interests. Yet when I was their client and later a related party, my current partner's ex-husband retained them. That same standard of care was nowhere to be found. Instead of recusing themselves and referring the matter out, they participated directly, leveraging prior knowledge about me to advance their new client's position and billing for it. That's not an oversight, that's selective ethics. They know what the rules require, but they only follow them when it benefits them. When it came to protecting me, their former client, they looked the other way. That's inconsistency, shows bias, and that's why we're here today.
Not great, but better than recruising.
I submitted a plaintiff statement supporting my evidence. I just want to make sure that y'all got it because I did send it in slightly late.
Mr. Miller, what's your cause of action?
So my cause of action is to be compensated.
For what?
For the amount of money that I spent and retaining a lawyer to play along with Jake Gilbreth, Mr. Gilbreth.
Well, let me look at your petition. Maybe that'll explain it for me. So you were a client of the defendants, is that correct?
I was.
Okay.
September, October.
I retained the law firm for my divorce case. Opposing party filed a temporary restraining order. I shared information with the defendant. Then you fired the defendant. the defendant, your info was shared with one of their clients. Do you believe they did that?
Yes, absolutely. With the evidence that I
So,
sent,
hold on, Mr. Miller. I'm just trying to figure out what the claim is. So you're saying that your lawyer, your former lawyer, disclosed your private information to one of their new clients, and that information was used against you?
correct. There's a police report, and there's also an audio of a deposition.
Your Honor, we did
I-
not receive a copy of what Mr. Miller sent. If he could send it.
I actually haven't seen all this. I know there's some craziness, so I know it gets fun. But theoretically, that's not a terrible claim. Your attorney-client privilege would extend beyond the representation. So we hired an attorney, then he got rid of the attorney. Then that attorney later gets hired by somebody else, and he's saying, "Hey, he used my personal information to help in a representation adverse to me." That is a problem. I don't know how it shakes out here, but that is, if you take what he's saying at face value, that could be a problem.
In or email it to me right now, that would be helpful.
I haven't seen it either, Mr. Castellanos. I'm still trying to figure out what the cause of action is. Right? So Mr. Miller hired the defendant to represent him in something. And then Mr. Miller, you terminated that representation. And then later you found out that one of their clients.
If you're at hearing and the judge, and this is a smart judge, doesn't know what your cause of action is, you screwed up.
You were involved in another action?
So my girlfriend, her ex-husband hired Mr. Gilbreth. And
Unrelated to your divorce case?
it became related when he shared information.
Okay. Let's get a timeline for me real quick. Mr. Miller, when did you hire the defendant to represent you in a divorce?
I believe it's September of 2023.
Okay. So in September of 23, you hired for a divorce. And you let them go at what point? When did you stop having the defendant represent you? When did you terminate?
I believe it was shortly after November, early December of 2023.
So within about 2 to 3 months.
Correct.
Your Honor, there are filings. If I could just clear up the record, our client submitted the motion for substitute counsel on August 1st, 2023. By September 5th, they submitted a motion for withdrawal, and that order was subsequently granted on September 21st, 2023.
So by September 21st of 2023, defendant was no longer representing the plaintiff.
Correct.
Okay. Court granted withdrawal. And that was the district court for the divorce.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Miller, that refresh your memory?
Been a while, but yes.
Okay. So September 21st of 2023. All right. Mr. Miller, now September, you no longer have them as attorney. Did you get different counsel? Did you hire a new lawyer?
I did.
Okay. And did that lawyer get you a divorce?
No. I had to
Okay.
finish it myself.
All right. So you hired a new lawyer. After you got rid of the defendants as your counsel, what happened next? How do you come back to see the defendants?
Well, so my girlfriend's ex-husband, she hired Mr. Gilbreth and Luke.
No, Mr. Miller,
Sorry.
you're still married, correct?
No. Well, no,
But at the time, let's go back in time.
Yeah,
You
let me go
hired
back.
them. It's September of.
This is so fun. He just cannot get this concept. He cannot get this concept. If you're going through divorce, you're still married. It doesn't really matter. I'm not like judging it in that big of a way, but the judge is just making her nuts, as it should. The precision matters.
2023. Are you divorced in September of 2023?
No,
No, but you have
It
a
finished.
girlfriend.
it finished January of 2024.
Okay, so you didn't get divorced until January 2024. But you have a girlfriend.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine, y'all. I understand that people may be separated. I'm just trying to get the terminology and make sure that I'm following.
I
So
understand.
you're still going through a divorce. you got a girlfriend, your girlfriend's boyfriend or ex-husband hires the defendants.
And I have it on number 2
No. Current husband.
on the plaintiff statement. It's he was hired January 2024.
For the
Right
record,
about the
Your
time
Honor.
you're getting divorced.
Same time, correct?
Okay. All right. So how does your girlfriend's ex-husband hiring the defendant cause you harm?
Because he had during the deposition
Of what?
and during
Mr. Miller,
the
deposition
police
of what?
deposition of Greg Anatelli, Mr. Gilbreth, that's and also in the
Mr. Miller, what was he
recording,
deposed for?
he was deposed for his divorce.
So your girlfriend is still married too. And
So he was
she's
trying to
going through
get-
divorce. So it's not her ex-husband, it's the man who's going to be her ex-husband.
Your Honor, he was trying to remove me from dating his ex-wife.
Is
So
she
that's
his
so the
ex-wife, or was-
information
This is
that
what I'm
was
getting,
shi-
Mr. Miller.
Sorry.
Your girlfriend's, this husband, he hired the defendant to get him divorced from your girlfriend. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
So then it's not her ex-husband until the divorce is final.
Okay, but that's not what the reasoning we're here today is, because he used information that he can only obtain through my lawyer in his own deposition and also a police report. So I got deposition and I had to hire a lawyer because of that information that Mr. Gilbreth decided to take liberty and share.
Okay, so Mr. Miller, you hired the defendant to represent your divorce. You changed your mind, you got rid of them. 3 months later, they got hired by your girlfriend's husband who was going through a divorce with your girlfriend. And he hired them to get him divorced from her. And in that divorce proceeding, you're saying that they were able to use information about you because you had once been represented by them.
Correct.
Okay,
And their divorce lasted, well, it's still going on. It's 3 years in the making.
so it's still not her ex-husband,
It's 3 years in the making because
but not divorced.
Mr. Gilbreth likes to.
Mr. Miller, is your girlfriend divorced or not? Yes or no?
It's still going on.
So the
Still
answer is
dealing
no.
with
So
it.
she's still married. So it's not
Yes.
her ex-husband. It's the man she's trying to divorce. Okay,
Correct.
cool. Mr. Castellanos, give me something here. Let me hear your statement.
Your Honor, we believe the plaintiff's claim falls for 2 simple reasons. Number one, from my understanding, his allegations is that what allegedly, well, I guess in theory it would be multiple, but our client absolutely never shared, not now, not ever, any confidential information. Defendants are well-established and reputable attorneys here in Texas, and would never do such a thing.
Mr. Castellanos, I'm just curious. Is it
No.
correct what Mr. Miller said that this client who got hired in January is indeed still married to someone that Mr. Miller is in a romantic relationship with?
That is correct, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. All right. But in filling out information for the husband, what is that guy's name? Can I refer to him by something?
Greg. Greg is
Greg.
yeah.
Okay. Greg, when he filled out the form, Mr. Miller wouldn't have shown up in that information, right?
At the time my client was retained, that we had no indication that it would be a conflict.
When did your client find out about Mr. Miller?
I believe it was after they were retained. I think Mr. Gilbreth would be Mr. Gilbreth or Mr. Wallace would have better information on that.
May I answer that?
Yeah. I mean, y'all, this is justice court. We just call it develop the case.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
get me to the
so-
facts a little bit faster, y'all.
Right. It may be because I had the file pulled up and everything. So we get retained around January 24. Right. At that time, there's no knowledge. We represent husband. There's no knowledge that wife is dating Mr. Miller.
Sure.
Later, it comes out that Mr. Miller and Miss Iannuccelli were dating.
When is that?
Right. Let me pull up. That is
Later. Right.
Yeah,
But
let
that
me
seems to
get
be
the
the
exact
question.
date. I'm
When
sorry.
did that? Because I get it, right? I see immediately why you wouldn't have caught it. They're not related. Mr. Miller is not in any way in a formal relationship with whoever Greg's ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, whatever that relationship is. I can see why it wouldn't have come up, but you found out later. So when was
Right.
that?
So that was on or about November of 24, October, November of 24.
So 9 or 10 months on down the road.
Right. And I can talk about the next steps that we took after that.
Your Honor, can I actually call in on Carol so that way she can correct some of this information?
Who is that, Mr. Miller?
That is my girlfriend.
I mean, she's allowed to be a witness when we get that stage, absolutely.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying
And
to.
I did also send in documentation that I sent Mr. Gilbreth emails making sure that and reminding him that he should not be sharing, and he responded, absolutely not, will not be sharing any of your information, and that should be in
Mr.
the
Miller,
document
Mr.
section.
Miller,
Right.
are those emails to the defendant before October of 2024?
I believe they were in December.
So the answer is no.
Yeah, no. But
Cool.
October,
Then we're all on the same timeline, right? I'm just making sure. Like,
Right.
when did they discover it? Mr. Gilbert says that he found out around October, November. So Mr. Miller, what I'm asking you is, do you have evidence that they knew about the conflict prior to October of 2024?
so none of this became problematic
I
until
get that. I'm asking when y'all knew there was a conflict, right? Because that's what you
I
said.
knew right away.
So,
As soon as
When
he
did you,
retained,
Mr. Miller, when did you notify the defendant of the conflict?
I believe it was in my email. Let me pull it up.
Pull it up and give me a month and a year. Because right now, Gilbert says they discovered the conflict in October of 2024, which was
So
9 months after the contract was signed.
And Your Honor, it's also worthwhile to point out that when the conflict was discovered, outside counsel was retained.
January 8th, 2025.
So
No, I'm
after,
sorry.
cool, that
Yes.
doesn't change the story from the defendant then. Okay, so the defendant had no knowledge. You discovered this conflict occurred in October. Mr. Gilbert,
Right.
how did you discover that this conflict existed?
So a couple of things. I think it's around this time, right? So when our client, I don't want to get into obviously attorney-client communications, but it became an issue in the divorce at that time, right? Around this time. So I've dealt with this issue before in the practice. I've reached out to the ethics committee. It's not technically a conflict of interest, right? Because we're not suing Mr. Miller, right? We're not, he doesn't have a legal interest that's contrary to Mr.
I get it. He's
Iannuccelli's.
not a party to the
but-
claim. He's a
But
potential there. He's sitting out there. I get
right.
it.
He's a potential witness. And the way I handle that, although it's not required by the ethics, the way I handle that is just because I don't want to be deposing an ex-client, right? Is even though it's technically not a conflict, I always refer it out. Just say, if you want to depose somebody that, I used to represent, you need to get a separate lawyer for that. So Mr. Iannuccelli retained a lawyer named Slav Talavera to come in as co-counsel because I'm not going to be deposing Mr. Miller. I'll say one more time because I'm very sensitive to it, even though it's not a conflict of interest. I don't want to depose an ex-client. So Mr. Talavera made his appearance on November 5th of 2024. And all interactions with Mr. Miller that were pertaining to the divorce, the deposition, those types of issues were all handled from Mr. Talavera moving forward. And we made sure to not share. Obviously, we can't share information about Mr. Miller to Mr. Talavera or to Mr. Iannuccelli, and we didn't. And so I think the complaint, as I understand it from Mr. Miller, is that Mr. Talavera was able to determine by looking online, because it's public information, he was able to determine that there had been a protective order filed against Mr. Miller by his, as part of his divorce. There had been a protective order actually multiple times filed against Mr. Miller. My understanding is Mr. Talavera shared that information with Mr. Iannuccelli. My understanding is Mr. Miller's theory is that I shared that information with Mr. Iannuccelli. I did not, but it's also public information. It's not confidential information. That's my understanding of the complaint.
Mr. Miller, that gets to a good question. What information do you believe, or are you alleging that the defendants shared with Greg?
So Greg, in Greg's deposition, he swore under oath what he said is true. And I have a video, I have an audio clip of that I can either let y'all hear it now or send it in. I believe I did send it in.
Just tell me, Mr. Miller, what information do you say Greg learned about you that he would have only learned from your former attorney?
So it was alleged that I had a history of violent and that I had a protection order, which it was only what do you call it? An application that was never judged on. So those two statements from Mr. Gilbreth in sworn statements that Mr. Anitelli repeated that his lawyer told him. And they tried to get him to retract, but they couldn't because he had to answer the question.
All right, Mr. Miller, have you ever been arrested for a violent altercation of any type?
None.
Ever been charged with a crime of violence?
No.
Has anyone ever applied for protective order against you?
My ex-wife, because I didn't, no, never mind.
In your divorce, did your ex-wife allege that you had been violent?
No.
Do you have any witnesses today, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Who is
Carol.
that?
Carol Aniselli.
And what information will she have?
She would have firsthand. She was there. She heard it,
Firsthand of
everything.
what? They're there for what?
Oh, she was there during the deposition.
That's not what I'm needing, right? Like, I want to hear from Greg. Where's he? Because if he says, because Mr. Miller, if Greg says, Mr. Talavera told me that, I want to hear that from Greg.
I have Greg on a recording in his deposition submitted that under oath that he said that his lawyer told him, gave that information to him on the police report and also, excuse me, and also in the deposition.
And that by that point, Your Honor, Slav Talavera was the attorney as to with regards to Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller already made an appearance by that point.
No, that was before my appearance.
What day is the deposition, Mr. Miller? What's the day of the deposition that you're wanting to play?
Greg's deposition was January 2023. My deposition was
Mr. Miller,
February
Mr. Miller, January of what year?
2025, January 23, 2025. And then my deposition was February, late February 2025.
All right, and it's in the January testimony that you say, Greg said, I learned that from my lawyer.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Mr. Talavera made an appearance November 5th, 2024, Your Honor.
All right, who else, Mr. Miller, was present at the deposition on January 2025? If you have that knowledge, since you're not a part of that, that's something else. Do you know who was there?
Was that question directed to me?
Yeah, Mr. Miller,
Oh.
you're the one saying that Greg, you have evidence that Greg in his deposition in January, but you weren't physically present at that deposition. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Because that deposition is for Greg's divorce from Carol, your girlfriend.
Yes, and it's
All right.
also public information with the transcript of everything.
Yeah, that's what happens in a public.
Well,
trial.
and then
All right.
also he made it public with the police report, and he states that his lawyer said so.
Police reports are public. So, here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Miller. In January of 2025, Greg said in his deposition, I learned about these things from my wife's boyfriend from my lawyer, Mr. Talavera.
Correct.
Okay. And
No,
then,
my lawyer, Mr. Gilbreth. And
yeah,
Luke,
but Mr. Talavera is the lawyer that told Greg that. And Mr. Talavera said he learned that from Mr. Gilbreth. Is that correct?
I don't know who Mr. Talavera is.
Your Honor, Mr. Talavera was the one who issued the notice of deposition for Mr. Miller.
And Mr.
that
Talavera
was
is the
in
one that
February.
deposed Mr. Miller.
Yeah.
Who deposed Greg?
That would be Ms. Sinercelli's divorce lawyer, Micah Royer.
And Your Honor, he never identified the lawyer from whom he allegedly learned this information.
He did. It's in the recording.
All right,
If we'd
let's
like
hear
to
it.
play it.
Mr. Miller, let's just play it.
All right.
Let's see if I can hear it.
So I'm trying to ask, would be some line on
Hold on.
his representation?
No, Mr. Miller, that's not gonna work.
Hold on, let me get it closer.
I think he submitted it as well. I can share my screen and
Fantastic.
If
Mr.
we
Miller,
can
just
hear
hold
better.
on. My clerk might be able to play it for us.
let's
Let's see, Barry, if you can get it working.
Yeah, hear it?
We can't hear that, Mr. Miller.
I don't know where the mic is. I'm sorry. Tell me when you can hear it.
All right, so Mr. Miller, while we're trying to pull up the audio, how were you harmed in Greg if Greg was deposed in his own divorce, how did that harm you?
I couldn't hear because it was still playing. Can I send this in?
Yeah, I think you did, Mr. Miller. We're trying to pull it up on our end.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Miller, here's my question.
Sure.
Assuming all of these things to be true, Greg said in his testimony in January when he was deposed that I learned that my wife's boyfriend has a history of violence, per the lawyer, and a protective order had been applied for. How are you harmed by that testimony?
Oh, money goes around. This is the reason why I'm here. I'm trying to gain my money back. If this information never went out, none of this would have been an issue. I had to pay for this because they also gained financially by doing all of this. And, you know, Mr. Gilbreth's very, yes.
Mr. Miller, I need you to draw a straight line for me.
Okay.
Greg testified in his divorce that he learned some information about you. How were you harmed?
Because
That's not your case. That's his divorce.
I had to pay to be depositioned. Had none of this information would have gone out, I wouldn't be involved in any of that specific part.
So
He
you-
was trying to get me out of her life because of their daughter, and it created
Okay, all
more
right, Mr. Miller.
conflict.
Are you saying that you believe you wouldn't have been deposed as part of Greg's divorce? That the only reason you were deposed is because of the information about a history of violence and a protective order?
Correct, because
You don't think, Mr. Miller, you don't believe they would have wanted to ask you questions as the current boyfriend of someone who's going through a divorce? I can see 1,000 reasons that you would have been deposed. If you're in a current dating relationship with someone going through a divorce, I have a ton of questions for you about how long have you known this person? How long has it been romantic? Were you having an affair before there was a separation? None of that. I guess I'm just, in order for you to be harmed, I need to know there was a direct line. If the harm is that you got deposed, I can think of many reasonable reasons that you would have been deposed in that divorce, completely unrelated to a history of violence or an application. The fact that you are dating her and she's going through divorce makes you a key witness.
no, I don't believe so, because the reason why I was being depositioned, because he wanted to, because of the violence that was alleged, which neither case never, like I said, never been arrested, none of that. So
Your ex-wife did apply for protective order.
that was because.
Mr. Miller, I'm just asking, is that
See,
correct?
but it's basically you apply for a protective order when somebody doesn't have enough money to go up against a person who has a trust fund. It's like holding a gun against them, and you do this, otherwise we're going to do that. That's another issue. There was no reason for me to have a protective order. There was zero. It was just so I can leave my own house. That was it. That's why it never went through. And then you see multiple court dates because they said, if you agree to this or that, then we'll take it off and we'll do it again. They did a stalking order, all because I said, why aren't you working? You're supposed to be working today, or you're stalking me. No, it was because I went to go get my mail, and because I was waiting for something to come to my house at the mailbox 100 yards away, and I see the trash cans up. It's just, common sense stuff. So it was just so that way they can gain control. Sadly, I lost $700,000 in my entire divorce. But that's neither here nor there. So the protection order has no bearing whatsoever in this case because it never was a protection order.
I grant that it wasn't eventually granted, but it was applied for.
I could apply for it. I could.
I know that, Mr. Miller.
And I did apply for it.
Mr. Miller,
Okay.
if your wife applied for it.
It's 2 years of anxiety and things of
understand
that
that.
nature that I've gone through. So now I'm reliving it right now. So it gets me built up a little bit.
I understand that, Mr. Miller. What I'm having to do though is I'm the judge, right? I have zero concern for whether y'all win or lose these cases. I have to just be the ref and call it what I'm seeing it. So what you've told me today is that as a part of your divorce, you hired the defendant to represent you. And then within a month and a half, you changed your mind and let them go. And 3 months later, your girlfriend's husband, who she was going through divorce with, happened to hire the same divorce attorneys.
My
And
assistant
that is
just
not,
came up.
Mr. Miller,
Oh, I'm
let me
sorry.
finish. Because that is the testimony that I heard. You hired them in September of 23. And Mr. Greg hired them in January of 24.
So
And Mr.
Slav
Miller,
was hired December 24. Police report filed November 2024. Slav did not tell Greg.
Mr. Miller, what I say is
So
that the
I have
police
the
report
notice
is
of
filed,
co-counsel pulled up.
Yeah, we filed something in court, Your Honor.
The police report was filed November 2024, so I gave that, I sent that in. If you can pull up the police report, Your Honor.
Mr. Miller, a police report would be discoverable by anyone. So
But it
that
was,
would not be
you
something
know,
that,
Greg filed it in 2024 before Slav came in the picture. So that's what I'm trying to say. None of
So
this
the-
was even, none
Mr.
of this
Castellanos,
was.
don't talk over him. That's disrespectful.
I apologize, Your Honor, that was.
I'm just trying to figure out, Mr. Miller, here's the thing. I don't hear a claim of action here. I understand that you hired the defendants and then you let them go. And then they got hired again by your girlfriend's ex-husband, which technically is not an ex-husband because none of these divorces are done yet, right? What I'm saying is that in order for you to show me that you were harmed by them representing the new guy, some privileged information needs to have been provided. The two things that you highlighted were that he said you had a history of violence. That's too pejorative to be a specific example, and that you had a protective order filed against you. The fact that your ex-wife filed for it is a public record. That's not privileged information. Anyone can find that. The fact that it wasn't granted is a benefit to you, but it doesn't change the fact that that piece of information is not something privileged or protected. And if those are the only two things that you believe led to you being deposed for the reasons I stated, I can think of many reasons you would be deposed in a divorce. I don't hear that you were harmed, not legally sufficient to make a claim of action against the defendants.
Your Honor, I feel like I was harmed financially. I feel like my character was harmed by in the audio recording, also in this police report that was before Slav, that Mr. Gilbreth gave this information to Mr. Einatelli.
Mr. Miller, say even if that was true, none of those two things are privileged, and neither of those things wouldn't have been otherwise discoverable.
But there's no violence or says violence inside of my protective order. So
You have not been found to be
where did
violent, Mr. Miller.
where that information come from? That came from Mr. Gilbreth, and that says under oath that it came from Mr. Gilbreth of violence, and it even states, well, that I wasn't. You just have to, if you could do me a favor and just listen to the audio, you can hear the entire situation.
Mr. Castellanos, anything further from you?
No, Your Honor, I think that as I alluded to, our client did not disclose any information. He retained outside counsel to, assure that no conflict of interest and no confidential information was put forth. The information that Mr. Miller alleges was confidential was public record, and he can't show that he suffered any harm from, even if everything he says is taken as true, he cannot prove that he was harmed. So we believe that you should take nothing.
My clerk let me know that she was able to get the audio up, so let's take a listen to it. Mary, how long is it?
Let's see. Doesn't tell me. I think it's around 4 minutes, if I'm not. Yeah, 4 minutes.
Mr. Miller, is there a particular moment in that 4 minutes that you think?
I have it. I have it captioned right then and there.
All right, just play it, Mary. Let's hear it.
Share my. Are you able to see? Okay, let me go back.
Mary, when you hit share, did you hit share audio too?
Yeah, let me do it again.
I don't hear anything.
Now, one of the allegations that you've raised in your interrogatory responses is that your accusation that Mr. Miller, Darrell Miller, has a criminal history. Do you recall that statement?
I do.
What criminal history do you allege that Mr. Miller has?
My attorney, while on the phone with him,
And just to cut you off there again, instruct you not to tell anybody what your attorney just did.
Well, except as it relates to if he sponsored that he has criminal history, that's no longer disclosed, no longer confidential communications if he's made a representation. So I'm trying to ask him what he's relying upon for his representation that Mr. Miller has a criminal history?
Well, and hold on. If the interrogatory responses say, my attorney told me,
That's not what it says.
okay, well then I still think it's privileged. I'm not sure I'm following what the logic is behind it.
Privilege only applies if it's a confidential communication.
Correct.
If he's represented that he has a criminal history, then I'm entitled to know why he's making that representation.
Okay. And look, what I'll instruct you on that is, Greg, to the extent that there are any communications between your attorney regarding you learning of this criminal history, I'd still instruct you not to testify. To the extent you have knowledge of Mr. Miller's criminal history from other sources, you're allowed to testify about that.
I don't have any other knowledge other than conversation with my attorney.
Okay, so what criminal history do you allege Mr. Miller has?
I was told he had a protective order against him for stalking, and it looked like domestic violence issues with his ex-wife.
And you understand that that was an application for protective order and not an actual protective order that was entered with the court?
I didn't know that it was just an application. I wasn't told that.
And so in your sworn statements that Mr. Miller has a criminal history and a protective order against him for domestic violence and stalking, do you believe that you need to amend your sworn statement to correct that?
Yeah, if in fact he doesn't have a, I guess, conviction you would call one, or an active protective order, then yeah, I mean, if he had one, then I think it would still be valid. But again, I was told this, and I was raising it as a concern.
What have you done? Well, are you currently working, Sid?
I am not.
And
Your Honor, I believe that they changed subjects.
Okay. I'm curious, who is the attorney asking the questions? Mr. Miller?
May
do
I
you
answer
know?
that? Excuse me.
Okay. Mr. Gilbert, if you know, yeah, because Mr.
Yeah.
Miller wasn't there. So who was it?
Yes, ma'am. So that was Micah Royer, who is Carol Iannuccelli, the wife's lawyer, deposing Greg Iannuccelli, the husband.
Yeah.
And Luke Wallace was defending the deposition on behalf of Greg Iannuccelli on that one. And I think you have the date on that deposition, but if you need me to give that to you again, I can.
Okay. Mr. Miller, anything further?
Again, I just want to what they said earlier, that Slav was hired after, but he was hired in December of 2024. And again, a police report that I sent in was filed November 2024. So again, they said Slav told Greg, and that's proven to be false. And as well in his audio, it's proven to be that a lot of this is false.
Your Honor, if it would be helpful to the court, I'm more than happy to show the notice of appearance of Slav, which is dated in November 5th.
I'm right here.
Actually, yes, Mr. Castellanos, if you have that. Thank you.
Already took a shower.
Yeah, just to make sure.
I have it as well if that's quicker, Your Honor. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, if you've got it pulled up, we'll give y'all sharing. Just be cautious when you share your screen, y'all, especially if you're lawyers. Who knows how many things you got open? Honestly, for everyone, just be cautious. Okay, appearance of co-counsel and the matter of Greg and Carol. They're getting divorced. I see there's children involved. All right. Mr.
And the
Talavera,
file stamp is to the upper right-hand corner.
November 5th. All right. Mr. Miller, you see that? Mr. Talavera was brought
Your
on
Honor.
and he registered as counsel of record November 5th of 2024. All right, thank you, Mr. Gilbert. I appreciate it. You can stop sharing. All right, anything further, Mr. Castellanos?
No, Your Honor, as I stated, I mean, even in the recording supports that says my attorney never outlined that it was my clients. And the only thing that he cited were public documents, the application for the protective order.
Mr. Miller, I would agree with that. I don't find that the information you presented indicates that a privilege occurred, that a privilege was breached, or that the information, Mr., and I can't think of his last name, Greg, oh, it's right here, Iannucci. That what he had was something that otherwise wouldn't have been discoverable through the normal public record search. I also can understand, I can see an easy path to why you would have been deposed even without those allegations, or the fact that there might have been information that your ex-wife had applied for something, which I understand and I want to highlight was not granted, right? So nothing about this says that those things were valid at the time they were asked for, simply that they were asked for. And just as you had sued the law firm, anyone can see that they have been sued, right? That doesn't mean one thing or the other. It just means that someone got sued. So the application had been filed and that would have been a discoverable thing. I don't see beyond that any harm sufficient for the court to recognize a claim of action. So with that reason, today would be a plaintiff take nothing. And Mr. Miller, you have the right to appeal my decision. As the plaintiff, it's a much easier burden for you to appeal. For a small claims case, it's a 21-day, and the court has no discretion on it. It's just, it's twice the judgment or $500 for the plaintiff. Okay?
Can I add one thing?
Yes, Ms. Miller.
All right. So you said, I just want to know where they got the information that says I'm violent and I had domestic violence. That's all I want to know, where they, because it's not in the protection order. So where did that information come from?
I don't know that, Mr.
It's a claim made by a woman going through a divorce like 99% of the time. That's pretty much the deal.
Miller, and it hasn't been proven, and it could have just been something someone made up. In divorces, I don't do them for a reason, but I hear lots of things get alleged that may have little to no basis on them. Mr. Miller, nothing I've learned today indicates that you were not otherwise a law-abiding person, and certainly nothing here in the record. Well, we're not a court of record, but nothing from records of the district court indicate that that's, you're going through a divorce that was contentious. So
I have three kids. I have a daughter, right? So if my ex-wife is dating a guy, and because he has a protection order, the only reason I would ever figure stuff out and try to deposition if he has domestic violence, or those things. So that's why I'm showing that I have financial, because I had to pay for this. Those are the only reasons why I was deposed.
Mr. Miller, I find that too far removed to be able to be actionable today. So plaintiff to take nothing.
Nope.
You absolutely can appeal though. All right. All parties are excused. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
There you have it. We finally got it done. Thank you, Brecken, for putting that together. It was fun. Good way to kick off the morning. Thanks for coming out, y'all. It's a good way to have coffee. I like a good morning stream if I'm up. I certainly went to bed early last night, so good times. I will see you all soon.